Every couple starts off at a different baseline. So just focus on what you're each needing out of the relationship. Never mind other people's relationship. The only time that I want you to look at someone else's relationship is if you want inspiration for what you can do differently. If you see your parents' marriage, you're like, that's a hard pass for me. That may make it difficult for you to know what you want to work towards. And that's fair. If you've never been shown it, then how could you possibly know what different looks like? And in that case, yes, go seek out couples who have a healthier relationship and just observe to inspire you to be like, oh, I love how they did that. How do we instill that in our relationship in our way? So I never want you to use other people to create feelings of shame or guilt or anything that just shits on yourself. I want you to use other people as inspiration to grow as individuals, as a couple.
Welcome to the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. I'm your host, Michelle Perda. As a marriage coach who's married with 3 kids, I know how much parenthood could change a marriage. If flirting, laughing, and having fun together feels like a thing of the past, then I'm here to teach you that marriage doesn't have to feel so hard with your parents, and your marriage can thrive even when you're in the season of raising kids. Whether you're in a good place in your marriage and you just want to continue growing together, or you're wondering if you even like your spouse anymore, this podcast has something for you. Join me here each week as we dive into what it takes to help your marriage grow, and maybe even do a 180. You'll learn ways to handle conflict better, bring that spark back into your relationship, as well as learn how to improve other areas of your life from my lovely guest experts. Are you ready for the next stage of your life and marriage? Let's dive in.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the Marriage and Motherhood Podcast. We are quickly coming to the end of 2025. Not quite sure how that happened. I feel like this year in particular went by super fast, like faster than last year for me. And last year involved me moving here to our new home in Georgia. We moved from California, the Bay Area specifically. And so that part confuses me. But here we are. As I'm recording this, Christmas is next week. Not sure how that happened. And soon after that, it'll be 2026. And so I figured it would be a great topic to touch on. And so that got me thinking about what you might be going through this time of year, especially if you're not all the way happy about where things are with your marriage. Maybe you want some things to be different. Maybe you're noticing from all this time you're spending with other people, other couples, that there are some things that you would like to be different in your marriage. Maybe you're noticing, how come they look like they have a better time together? I bet they don't fight. I bet they laugh so much together and they go on dates all the time, and look at how well they work together. What do they have that we don't, right? So you might find yourself comparing a lot. And this is very normal and common during the holiday season because it's the season of gatherings, which can be really fun. And also it can bring out some feelings in you, right? You can tend to compare yourself to other families, to other couples. You're also probably scrolling Instagram or TikTok, wherever you like to go, and you're noticing, wow, all these family pictures, they look so happy. Everybody's smiling, or look at the experiences that they're having with all these sentimental captions. And it's hard to not wonder and compare, right? Like, how come they're more affectionate than our family? How come they're more playful? How come they seem more connected, right? And so as you are moving through these feelings and experiences, I thought it'd be good to touch on that and offer you a different perspective on what to do with yourself in this season that might feel more healthy for you, because I know how much of an emotional roller coaster that can put you on, especially if you're not happy about certain areas in your life, it's really easy to just wonder, why can't my life be like that? What's wrong with me? Or what's wrong with us? Right? So I want to remind you that what you're seeing, whether it's in person or on your phone or on the computer or your tablet, gosh, there's so many different devices, but wherever you're seeing it, you're looking at what people want you to see, right? We always want to put our best foot forward and leave a good impression. And I want to remind you that this is their highlight reel. It is not the whole picture, okay? Most people are not going to air out their drama or their challenges, right? Most people are not going to be like, oh yeah, we just got into a fight walking in here. No, they're going to show you the version of themselves that they feel like they need to be at the moment. And same for social media, okay? You have no idea what they're dealing with. You don't know if they are having arguments all the time. You don't have any idea if they feel disconnected and they're kind of just living in parallel, right? You don't know how little partnership there is going on in their relationship. And so today I wanted to walk you through how to shift out of this comparison trap into more of a meaningful reflection, so you can understand what your marriage actually needs going into the new year, rather than just comparing and feeling unhappy about not having something that someone else appears to have, right? They say comparison is a thief of joy, and it's a saying for a reason. If you're comparing, then that means that you are not sitting with what you have already, right? What there is already to be grateful in your life, in your marriage. So here's what comparison's actually doing to you. When you compare, you are pulling your attention away from your actual relationship. You are comparing it to like a Hallmark movie or something that's curated, possibly not even real, right? All relationships have ups and downs. And what you see from other people are typically only the ups. And even then, sometimes it's a facade, right? Just like how when we go out, we wear a mask, right? We put on this version of us that we think other people would rather see or hear. And we are not fully the version of ourselves that we are at home, where we feel safe and comfortable to be who we are when we're not performing, right? Also, comparing creates false stories about other people's happiness. So you're almost like putting them up on a pedestal, assuming that their life is better than yours. Meanwhile, someone might be looking at yours thinking your life is better than theirs, right? Nobody wins in this situation. And not only that, but it amplifies the shame and judgment that you might have toward your own relationship, which doesn't create any sense of change. All it does is lets you marinate in the feelings of dissatisfaction and unhappiness. It also blocks you from the one thing that is so needed in your relationship for it to grow, which is curiosity, right? If you're busy comparing and feeling some type of way about not having these things in your relationship, you're spending time wallowing rather than getting curious about, what can I do? What are the things that we can work on? What are the things that we can control in this situation so that things can improve over the next few months or year? It also makes you go on this emotional roller coaster that you never even intended to go on, right? And so comparison really is the thief of joy. It's a slippery slope. And so I just want you to catch yourself if you do find yourself getting into that mode. Now, here's why I am bringing up comparison. When you're comparing your relationship, especially this time of year, you're essentially grading your marriage. You're putting it on a scorecard and making it mean something, right? So like come December 31st, you might take a look at, okay, how has our marriage been from January 1st to December 31st? And if it's not anything like an A or B, you might feel like, gosh, we are failing at this, or make it mean something about something that needs to happen, right? Like, oh, maybe it's time to consider separation, divorce. Maybe we're not compatible with each other. Maybe we're not meant to be together anymore. Maybe this is too hard and I can't take this anymore, right? There's this sense of like the end, right? It's like, oh, well, this year it didn't go how I wanted to go. But what I want to offer you is that your marriage is not measured on a year-to-year basis, right? Yes, anniversaries, you can say that, but your marriage is something that you signed up for to be a lifelong experience, a lifelong partnership. And with anything that goes on that long, there are seasons. So I want you to take a look at your marriage in seasons rather than on a year-to-year basis, because so much goes on throughout the year, right? Like right now, it's likely the busiest time of the year for you, right? We just got the kids back to school, which was a lot. You got them into their activities, also a lot. And then all of a sudden it was like Halloween, Thanksgiving. Now we have Christmas coming up, and then New Year's Eve. It's really busy right now. And then you've got a huge mental load that comes with this busy season. And so I don't want you to compare this season with a season that is vastly different, like summer. Okay? I want you to take a look at your marriage as a whole, and also acknowledging what are the different things that we are navigating now that weren't present before, right? So I don't want you to compare your relationship now to back when you didn't have kids, right? That's not a fair comparison. Is it helpful to understand what went well when you didn't have kids? Of course, because you can bring in elements of that into your marriage today. But I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, it's so different, so that means that we're failing, our marriage isn't doing well. No. Know that with each season, whether you have no kids, you're about to have kids, you have babies, you have toddlers, you have school-age kids, you are raising kids, to empty nesting. Wherever you are, there are great things about each season, and there's also challenging things about each season, right? And so it doesn't necessarily mean that there's something wrong. It just means that maybe the season is a little more challenging for you, but it doesn't mean that you're failing. It means that you're human, and this is a very normal human experience that you're going through. And all I'm saying is that if this is a challenging season for you right now, this is just an invitation for you to reassess, okay, what's not working well for us right now? What is working well for us right now? And what are we going to take away from this experience and apply these lessons learned going forward so we can continue to evolve, right? So we can grow from this experience, not make it mean something, but like, okay, what's the juice that we can squeeze out of this lemon? Right? Can we make lemonade out of this situation, right? The goal is not to judge the season. The goal is to understand how has it impacted you? What are we going to do with the information and the experiences that we've had through this season to carry us forward? Like I used the example of a busy season with young kids. That's going to offer you different marriage lessons than, let's say, transitioning to a different career or having family drama with your extended family or having illness in the family and having to navigate that. Or if we're going to talk about something that's more relatable right now is travel, holidays, and logistics and the invisible labor that comes with the holiday season, or overloading schedules, right? All these things that you might view as hurdles and challenges are all ways to grow your relationship. But it's only if you choose to view it that way. I just got off a call with a couple, and the example that I gave was how people say, you want to see how strong your marriage is, go through renovation together. Why? Because it tests your communication. It tests your partnership. It tests how well you guys work together under stress. Financial stress, stress of making decisions, stress of potentially disagreeing with each other on style, placement, all of the things, right? And so if you can just look at all of these life events, all of these hurdles and obstacles that you're going to navigate through together, through your entire lifetime together, these are all ways for you to grow as a couple, right? You don't grow together and get wiser together without experiencing hardships, right? Those who are strongest in marriage are the ones who have learned to navigate these things together in partnership. Not to say they did it perfectly. No, they probably fumbled a bunch. But the difference is that when they did fumble, they took a look at it and figured out, they reflected on it. They considered, okay, what went down here that led us to this? How can we do things differently going forward? So learning about yourself more, learning about your partner more, learning about how you two work together best, and then carrying that forward to future experiences. So you're evolving, right? You're shedding away what doesn't work, and you are like laying another brick to your foundation together. So here's what actually helps you move from judgment and comparison to curiosity. Now, I want to offer you how these two different mindsets work, right? So judgment sounds like we're behind. Other couples are doing better. What does this say about us? Why are we like this? Why can't we be more like them? Okay, that's what judgment says. Curiosity says, well, what season are we in right now? What's working for us? What feels hard and why? What are we wanting more of? What's a small shift that would help us feel more connected? Do you notice that these are all inviting curiosity and problem solving into the room, right? You're saying, okay, acknowledge that we are not where we want to be. Cool. Now what? Right? Putting on your critical thinking hat, not just like seeing it for what it is and stopping there, but rather, okay, yep, that happened. That didn't work for us. Now what? What can we do differently, right? So taking it to that next step. Curiosity opens the door to improvement, to clarity, okay? And a great way to work through your curiosity is actually my Marriage 360 review. It's a great tool to do any time of the year. And if you haven't done it at all, then what better time than right now when we're closing the year of 2025? I created the Marriage 360 review so that couples would have something to guide them on how to move forward with their relationship, to think about what's gone well, what feels hard, and what needs more of our attention. What area of our relationship could use more love, could use more attention in our focus? What are we wanting to change, right? Because what I notice in a lot of couples is that when things feel hard, they kind of tend to think that everything about it is hard. But more than likely, there is something, at least one thing, that's going well. So we don't want to scrap the whole thing and start over. We want to carry forward what is working, right? They say don't fix what's not broken. Yeah, carry that forward. Focus on what you want to change instead of scrapping the whole thing and starting over anew, okay? This goes into what you need on an individual level, on a relational level, so that you guys can get on the same page and also get to know what you each feel and need and think about how the marriage is going in a constructive, productive way. That way, it's not coming up because you're arguing, right? No, you're just having this conversation about what you're each needing and what you're happy about and what you would love to see changed in a neutral conversation, not as it comes up because one of you guys got upset, but rather like, hey, it's important for me for us to be happy in this relationship. So let's fill this out and kind of like see what are the things that we want to work on together, right? This is something that you can control. This is an exercise that will help your relationship grow. And this is what will bring to light things that maybe you haven't thought to bring up, or maybe you felt like you haven't had the energy or time to bring up. This is a perfect exercise to create space for that so that you guys can get on the same page and you guys can create joint goals and reinstate that level of partnership that you want from each other, right? So all in all, your marriage is not something you need to grade. Your marriage is simply something that is meant to grow with you. So gather the information using the Marriage 360 tool and talk about it. Make decisions together going forward on how you're going to do this as a stronger couple. Every couple's going to go at their own pace. Every couple starts off at a different baseline. So just focus on what you're each needing out of the relationship. Never mind other people's relationship, right? The only time that I want you to look at someone else's relationship is if you want inspiration for what you can do differently, right? Because if you come from a background where you're like, oh, definitely don't want their marriage, right? Like if you see your parents' marriage, you're like, that's a hard pass for me. Okay, that may make it difficult for you to know what you want to work towards. And that's fair. If you've never been shown it, then how could you possibly know what different looks like? And in that case, yes, go seek out couples who have a healthier relationship and just observe, not as a way to compare, but as a way to inspire you to be like, oh, I love how they did that, right? I love how they hosted Thanksgiving together. It seemed like there was very much a strong partnership going on there. Cool. How do we instill that in our relationship in our way? Or you're like, oh my gosh, I love how they worked that conflict out together. How can we do that for us, right? Leaving room for how you and your partner are different people than them, but also leaving room for like, oh, we can change it to something healthier. And they're an example of that, right? So I never want you to use other people to create feelings of shame or guilt or anything that just shits on yourself. I want you to use other people as inspiration to grow as individuals, as a couple, okay? So go work on that Marriage 360 review. You will gain clarity. You will be able to come up with an action plan with your spouse and know what to focus on come 2026. Or if you want to start the day that you do it, perfect. You don't have to wait for a symbolic start, okay? The best time to start is now, right? And so if after you fill that out and you're like, okay, we're having trouble with this, right? We're having the same arguments, not noticing the change that we want, or we feel like roommates and we don't know how to break out of it. Or you know what you want for your marriage, but you don't know where to start and you want the support and the tools and the guidance, then book a clarity call, okay? This is a great way for you to learn how marriage coaching can help your unique marriage and how it can help you get to where you want to go. Okay? Well, don't let this time of year be about shaming yourself or your marriage. Let it be a turning point, a moment of reflection, a moment of clarity, a moment of deciding, okay, what are we going to do about this? Deciding to take action, okay? You don't have to have everything figured out. You just need to be willing to look at what's real and decide what you want next and take the next step to create it, okay? No need to get ahead of yourself. Just take that next step and then figure out, okay, what's the next step after that? Okay, so I'm going to give you a little head start and say the next step for you is to download the Marriage 360 review, do that with your partner. And then if after that you're like, okay, I think we need support, then book a clarity call. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And if you know someone that could benefit from listening to this episode, please share this with them. Better yet, tag me in your Instagram stories so I can give you a shout out. If you love this show, thank you so much for being a listener. I appreciate you so much. I can't believe we've already made it to episode 254. Woo! I've been doing this for 3.5 years now. Someone asked me recently and I was like, how long has it been? I feel like I just started it last year. No, it has been 3.5 years. That's so crazy to me. So I'm so grateful for you supporting the show and for all my guests out there that have been a part of the show or people that have let me be on their show. It's been such a great journey and I'm excited to take this into 2026. And if you would like to support the show, please consider leaving a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you listen. That's how you can help this show grow and help women just like you get the help that they need. Okay? All right, I'll catch you back here on the next episode. Bye.
That's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. If you did, please send me a message over on Instagram at Michelle Purda Coaching to let me know what you loved most about it. Hearing from my listeners is my absolute favorite. And if you've been loving this podcast, please leave a rating and review. This will help people like you find the show and get the help they need. Catch you here on the next episode. Bye.